I thought my 7-year-old granddaughter was going to call the police on me. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Grandma, who is that man? And why is he holding your hand?" And let me tell you, what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about love, family, and starting over at 68 years old. My name is Margaret, and 6 months ago, I never would have imagined I'd be sitting here telling you this story. You see, my husband of 43 years, Robert, passed away 2 years ago. Just friends who somehow ended up having coffee together twice a week. Just friends who, well, you get the picture. 2 long, lonely years where I convinced myself that my chapter of romance was closed forever. Every time Emma would snuggle up to me and say, "Grandma, you're my favorite person in the whole world," I felt like a fraud. Every time Jake would tell me about his day at school, I wanted to tell him about my day with David. But I was terrified. Terrified they'd think I was replacing their grandfather. Terrified they'd be angry, or hurt, or confused. And that's where I met David. David with his silver hair that he actually takes care of. Unlike Robert, who just let his go wild. I kept living a double life. I whipped around to see Emma running toward me, her little legs moving as fast as they could, with Jake close behind and Sarah trailing after them looking confused. David's hand was still in mine. There was no hiding it, no quick explanation, no escape. David, who laughed at my terrible jokes about murder mysteries. You know, the one with the terrible parking but amazing sandwiches. What I didn't know was that Sarah had decided to surprise me by bringing the kids to the mall, which is right across the street from that cafe. David, who walked me to my car after every meeting, even though his was parked on the complete opposite side of the lot. Jake stepped forward. This kid, who's 9 years old going on 30, looked David up and down and said, "Are you nice to my grandma?" That my only job now was being the best grandmother I could be to Emma, who's 7, and Jake, who's 9, bless his heart, knelt down to Jake's level and said, "I try to be as nice to her as she deserves." Then he said, "Mom started dating Uncle Tim after Dad moved out, and we still love Dad, which means I have to be pretty spectacular, because your grandma is pretty amazing. But life has a funny way of surprising you when you least expect it." Actually giggled. Oh, honey? The world didn't end. The sky didn't fall. My grandchildren didn't disown me. And being lonely makes people sad. And I don't like when you're sad. Then, sweetheart, Grandpa isn't coming back. You remember we talked about how when people die, they understand that being happy doesn't mean forgetting someone who's gone. They understand that love isn't a zero-sum game. We think we need to protect them from the complexities of adult life, from the reality that love isn't simple or convenient or limited to one person per lifetime. They can't come back. Emma taught him how to play her favorite card game, and Jake showed him his rock collection. You don't stop deserving love just because you've already had it once. Your heart doesn't come with an expiration date. And the people who truly love you, they want you to be happy. Sarah grilled him about his intentions. Literally grilled him. She asked if his intentions were honorable, while he was flipping burgers on our back deck. And for the first time in 2 years, my house felt full again. Right, but they live in our hearts forever, she said. Something that made how do you explain to a 7-year-old that yes, sometimes the silence in your house is so loud it hurts. That sometimes you cook dinner for 2 out of habit and then remember you're eating alone. That sometimes you wake up and for just a split second, forget that the other side of the bed will be empty? My David said. Heart stop. Does this mean Grandpa isn't coming back? And my grandchildren staring at me like I was a stranger. I had to make a choice. Keep lying, or trust that love, all kinds of love, would be enough. Taking both of their hands. Sarah had finally caught up and was standing there with her mouth slightly open, but I had to focus on the kids first. I remember because I had just dropped the kids off at school, and he was waiting by my car with 2 cups of coffee and this nervous smile, and forth between David and me like she was solving the world's most complicated math problem. Jake was staring too, but he had this expression I couldn't read. Was it anger? Confusion? Betrayal? David doesn't replace Grandpa. Nobody could ever replace Grandpa. But sometimes, do you like chocolate chip cookies? When someone very special is gone, Grandma makes the best ones, but only if you're special to her. Our hearts make room for new people to love. It doesn't mean we love Grandpa any less. When his lips touched mine, I felt something I thought was buried with Robert. After we'd all gone for ice cream together. Are you lonely sometimes? Yes, all of us, including Sarah, who kept giving David what I can only describe as the mom stare. I was tucking Emma into bed when she said something that broke my heart wide open. Guilt immediately followed. Was I betraying my late husband? Was I too old for this? What would my children think? What would my grandchildren think? It started innocently enough. I joined a book club at the community center because, honestly, I was tired of talking to my cat all day. For 3 months, we were just friends who happened to text each other, "Good morning" every day. The first time David kissed me was on a Tuesday. I kept David a secret for 2 months. 2 months. Like I was some teenager sneaking around. My daughter Sarah would call and ask why I sounded so happy lately. And I'd make up stories about finding a new TV show or discovering a new recipe. Meanwhile, David and I were falling in love. Real, deep, I want to spend every day with you love. But secrets have a way of eating you alive from the inside. So I did what any rational 68-year-old woman in love would do. Last Saturday was supposed to be simple. David and I had planned a quiet lunch at that little café downtown. We were walking out, David's hand in mine, both of us laughing about something silly he'd said about the waitress's cat-shaped earrings. When I heard it, "Grandma," my blood turned to ice. Emma skidded to a stop right in front of us, her eyes wide, looking back. "Grandma," Emma said again, her voice smaller this time. "Who is this?" And in that moment, standing on that sidewalk, with the man I love beside me, "This is David," I said, my voice shakier than I wanted it to be. He's my boyfriend." The word felt foreign in my mouth. Boyfriend at 68. But it was the truth. Emma's eyes got even wider. "Grandmas can have boyfriends." Before I could answer, Emma giggled. "Oh." I knelt down to Emma. She nodded. "Well," Jake was quiet for a long moment. "Out of the mouths of babes." Emma looked at David again. "They're my favorite." "Good." And just like that, later that evening, "Grandma, how do you answer that?" "Sometimes I was, sweetheart, but not anymore, not as much." She was quiet for a minute. Then, "I'm glad you're not lonely, Grandma." Jake appeared in the doorway then. "Grandma, David seems cool, and he made you smile different." "Different how?" Like ... happy different. Like when you used to smile at Grandpa. You know what I learned that day? I learned that we underestimate our children and grandchildren. But kids understand love better than we do sometimes. They understand that hearts can hold more than one person. 3 weeks later, David came over for Sunday dinner. If you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, whether you're widowed, divorced, or just starting over later in life, let me tell you something. Even if one of those people happens to be a 7-year-old who insists your new boyfriend prove himself by eating 3 of her homemade cookies and rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. He gave them an 11, by the way. Smart man. Love doesn't end when we think it should. Sometimes, it's just getting started.